Yo, what's good? I'm sorry, chat. We ain't gotta be that hype today. We actually got a pretty sad story. But, 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 before we get into all of this bad news and this sad news, chat, let me know if y'all still fucking with them weak ass bamboos. Cause right now we fucking with a wood shorty. We fucking with a wood shorty and we fucking with a raw paper shorty. I done smoked both of them bitches today. It never. But we back. Shout out Unfiltered Stories, man, for even being a channel that do shit like this, expose niggas to content like this. Getting adopted by a predator changed her life. Shout out to the G's down below in the comments. Shout out to the militia, the guards, still stomping, stamping, and finessing through whatever, you feel me? I know sadly some of my viewers in the comments can relate. I'm not gonna speak on, you feel me? Not too crazy, but shout out to y'all. Shout out to the G's. Y'all really care about y'all, bro. That's what be really fucking me up, cause I really be like, I'm the type person, bro. I genuinely like each of y'all is a real person in me, bro. Y'all not just my viewers and my fans. But we gonna stop the yapping and shit and get into it.
My name is
Like
Latricia
that fucking
Thomas.
blunt
I
up.
am here to tell my story about being adopted by a child predator and a child abuser. I was about 3 years old, and my parents had 6 kids, so we were separated once we were entered into the system. The 3 oldest went to one home, and the 3 youngest went to another. So
See, and that's bogus right there. That's bogus right there, let me tell you. What they really supposed to do is, right, in any case scenario like that, they shouldn't have split it up youngest to oldest. And the reason that they do that is so, like, it's so fucked up, bro, because social services is a system built for niggas to lose. And when I say niggas, I mean niggas to lose. Anywho, yeah. It's crazy, bro. We see so much in our society of them destroying the black home and we don't say nothing.
3 instantly became the oldest because I had my 2 sisters with me. We ended up being in a home of a lady called Annie Mahone there in Akron, Ohio.
3 girls under 3 is crazy. Did she say she was the oldest out of them 3
went to another.
youngest?
So I, at 3, instantly became the oldest because I had my 2 sisters. We ended up being in a home of a lady called Annie Mahone there in Akron, Ohio, which is where I was born. Annie Mahone was interesting. I was so young. It was like my first experience of ever being in a farm.
I'm sorry, chat. I know we on some serious shit. God forgive me, but I don't know. Every time I hear Akron, I just think about Brian.
So I would spend most of my time in my bedroom. I turned 5 years old while I was there, so I ended up going to elementary school. One day I come home from school and Miss Mahone's like, hey, you guys need to get your hair done and I bought you new outfits. I'm going to take you somewhere to get your pictures taken. We get in the car and we get to this huge studio. And in the back of this studio, there was a field. And when I showed up, there were a bunch of kids there. The photographers told us, go run, go play. We're going to take pictures of you all. They captured the photo that would get me adopted. Later that evening when we came home, they showed these pictures on the news. So they broadcast us across Ohio, Pennsylvania, I'm sure New Jersey. It's the youngest photo I have of myself and my sisters, and this photo got us adopted. We went to this adoption agency. It was a Lutheran adoption agency. That's who handled it. So we get there and we meet this couple, Carol and John Thomas. And when we meet them, they were like ecstatic to meet us. The man, John Thomas, my adoptive father, he was very touchy. He picked us up. He was throwing us around. He was playing with us, very active. He had this gold tooth in his mouth. I'd never seen anyone with a gold tooth in their mouth, so I paid very close attention to like how he was. But Carol Thomas, I was mesmerized by her, and she just looked like someone you would want to be your mom. She hugged us. She was obsessed with us. She touched our hair. You know, she kissed our faces. She was very motherly. I was finalized in my adoption on June 6th of 1996. So I go to this couch and I sit on it. This was like the first day.
No, chat. Firstly, I'm gonna preface whatever else I'm about to say in this video with this. To anybody who thinking about, you feel me, shit like that, right? The only warning that I will heed you with is in social services, they don't really do extensive enough background checks. It's crazy because a lot of people, it's a whole subsection of American society that adopts kids to live off the income that the kids bring from the state. And they don't do shit for the kids, bro. The kids just be in the house. And I've known kids that grew up like that. That was crazy. Like, you feel me? I've had classes with these niggas. You feel me? Motherfuckers don't know their situation, don't none of that. But everybody, damn, why that nigga always stink? Damn, why that nigga shoes all beat up? Damn, why that nigga clothes like that? Nigga can't get no uniform, bro. Still got on high waters. Bro, niggas be hurting out here, bro. Like, everybody don't got the same life. To anybody who even has a parent, you're a lucky motherfucker, bro. Like, I'm glad that I can even say I'm one of the lucky few who grew up with both of moms. Shout out to my mom and my pops, nigga. But fuck, I know so many people who don't have that, and I'm like, that shit kill me, bro, because it's like, damn.
Thomas, she's upstairs, she's doing her thing. John Thomas is running in and out of the house. They're putting stuff in the car. They're doing these things. And Carol Thomas comes downstairs. She's like, who told you can sit on this couch? And so I'm confused. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that I couldn't sit on the couch. I'm sorry. She goes, don't get an attitude. She'd never done that before. She'd never raised her voice really at me like that before. So I was like, I'm not giving you an attitude. And one thing she used to always say to me is, that right there, that makes me feel like you have an attitude with me. Like you have a problem. So I always would scrunch my face up like that. It's just something I do. She got very angry. She grabbed me by my arm. She was yelling at me. She went and got a extension cord.
And chat, I relate to that. I'm one of them niggas who, when I say shit, sometimes, like, I can't control my facial expression. So it come out wrong sometimes. Like, I have no tonal. Like, my face just do shit sometimes, bro. Like, I can't hide no reaction, bro. But to get beat for that is crazy. I'm not going to lie. To get beat for that is insane.
She got very angry. She grabbed me by my arm. She was yelling at me. She went and got a extension cord. And for the first time, on the day of my finalization, Carol Thomas beat me with a extension cord. My sisters were standing on the stairs. John Thomas was walking through like nothing was happening. And she beat the out of me. And I just remember like having all these welts up and down my legs and like crying profusely. And my sisters like huddled around me. And after she finished this episode, again, had never even seen her act this way. She was like, stop crying. You're going to be fine. Listen from now on. She's like, off it. She's like, sit over here. And there was like this red recliner that was catty-cornered in our living room. And between the recliner and there was a long couch here, but the couch I sat on was like over here. And she's like, sit here. She puts me in this recliner and I'm just sitting there. My sisters come and huddle beside me and I'm crying. About an hour and a half goes by and we're getting in the car and people are coming over and taking pictures. And she's like, straighten up. Don't cry. Let that go. And that's what I did. I straightened up, stopped crying, I wiped my tears, and I just got thrown into the day. We get in the car, everyone's taking pictures of us. We get to the courthouse, we get finalized, we take pictures with the judge, the caseworkers are there, everyone's taking pictures with us. We get all these gifts. We go out to dinner. Her sons are there, their families are there, grandparents are there. We're celebrating. We're now Thomases. I've just become Latricia Thomas. How did I feel? I felt excited, but I didn't know what I was excited about. I just kind of was going with everyone else's emotions because I didn't really understand what adopted meant. So from this point on, after our finalization, everything started to die down. There were no caseworkers coming by anymore. Carol and John Thomas were also still foster parents. So we had foster kids coming in and out of our house all the time. After about a year of me and my sisters, after our adoption, us being adopted there, we got a set of twins. Fraternal twins came. We fell in love with them. Me and my sisters fell in love with them. The Thomases fell in love with them, but their mother wasn't ready to let them go. But they just kept coming back and forth. And then one day it was like, hey, can you keep these kids? The caseworker. The thing that's interesting about that is the caseworkers were coming in terms of like foster kids, but it was almost like me and my sisters were invisible. You know, it's like these caseworkers were coming backwards and forth and they're bringing these kids, but no one was really paying attention to what was going on with me and my sisters. John Thomas, he just started becoming creepy. And when I say creepy, I mean like I'm in the tub taking a bath and he like just stands in the doorway, or he's watching me like get dressed and I'm 7-year-old kid. And so I didn't know if it was wrong or right that he was watching me get dressed because no one ever said anything to me about it. I guess this is okay. He's supposed to be my dad. So once the twins come and they're there permanently, they're in a room downstairs. My sisters and I were sleeping in a bigger room, the bigger room on the 3rd floor now. And like I said, John Thomas was just frequently coming to my room, frequently just being there whenever I was unclothed and just being creepy. So summer of 97 comes. There was 2 conjoining rooms on the bottom floor. The twins slept in 2 cribs there, and between the floor, there was plenty of room for you to like cuddle up and bundle in there. So that's what we would do. John Thomas put air conditioners in there. He closed the door and made that very cool so that we could all sleep in there and sleep in air conditioning. So one day, I'm outside, I'm playing, I'm being a normal kid, I'm just enjoying myself. I come in, I have dinner, and getting ready for bed. Everyone's in the room, they're going to sleep. John Thomas is still downstairs. Carol Thomas is in her bedroom. She's falling asleep. All of us kids are falling asleep. I'm laying in like a sleeping bag with a blanket over top of me. I hear the door open to the room that all of us kids are in, but I'm still asleep, but I can hear that the door opens. So I kind of like look around and I see John Thomas walk into this room, but then I'm just laying there sleeping. John Thomas lays down behind me and he puts his arms around me. I don't move, just laying there. The crazy thing about it is there's a window here. So I can see like the street light outside shining in on one of the twins in the crib. I'm laying to the side. He has his arm around me and he smells like cigarettes and cheap beer. He used to drink natural light beer all the time and he smoked cigarettes, and I can feel him like breathing on me, and then he sticks his hands in my underwear and he starts touching me inappropriately. I'm again at a point where I'm like, is this normal? Because she's right in there. So, okay, after this is over, it lasts for about 5-10 minutes of him laying behind me, fondling me, touching me. He gets up, he goes out the door to the room we're in. I hear him walk down the hallway, go into his bedroom door, and I hear him get in his bed. I'm just laying there awake. I eventually fall asleep. I wake up the next morning and it's summertime. I use the bathroom, I go downstairs, and he's standing in the kitchen making breakfast. And I just look at him and he looks at me and nothing was said about it. I was just very confused. By the time we get around to the twins being finalized, because the twins are finalized within a year, so by 98, my twin brother and sister are finalized. John Thomas was doing this every day. Didn't matter where I was or where I was sleeping. He was ramping it up. He would come in the bathroom and watch me shower. He would come to my room and just stand in the doorway, watch me dress. He would start doing very cruel punishments to all of us. So Carol Thomas, again, she's in the house when all this is happening. Carol Thomas would just allow him to do whatever he wanted to us. So outside of John Thomas sexually assaulting me, sexually abusing me, he was very physically abusive to me and my siblings. He would beat us with PVC pipes. He would beat us with extension cords. He would stick his fingers down our throats to make us throw up.
See, chat, this is what I mean, right? And this is what also, I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy that a lot of these kids, right, it's like, for them, being adopted should be like a great thing, like something that's beautiful, a beautiful moment for them. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's it's life changing, but it's not always life changing for the better. And it's like, it's crazy how often systemic abuse is utilized in America, because it happened in prison too. Like, you feel me? Those authority if you catch my drift, down below in the comments, let me know. But a lot of them authority figures and shit like that, they get corrupt with their power, especially when they not being watched. A lot of motherfuckers are very good at hiding who they are when they're watched. So it's like, you can't take everything a motherfucker do in front of you at face value, because a lot of people act differently when they're around you. You feel me? A lot of people act different, and it's fucked up, because I really be like hurt, because I have a lot of family members who went through shit like this, or like dealt with situations like these, and it's like, damn. You feel me? I wish I was old. Fuck out of here. That shit not happening to my little cousin. Nigga, what? What? We gonna go get it back in blood. Wallahi to the deen. Like, it's crazy. I don't know, bro. I just could never see Like, I couldn't imagine the pain that I would feel if something like this happened to, like, you feel me, one of my future children, or one of my future nephews and nieces, or you feel me, anything like that. Like, I genuinely lose my shit, bro. Like, what? Cause you literally, not only is the government, not only is the parent putting their trust in a random motherfucker who they probably only met once or twice to take care of their children, the government is also analyzing these people and, you feel me, approving that. So it's like, y'all gotta be more on point with shit. Cause like, you feel, this shit is so common. Chat, like, I've heard about stories like this so much throughout my life. It's crazy. It genuinely boggles my fucking mind, bro.
He would make us slap each other, make us punch each other in the stomach. Carol Thomas would be sitting there while this was going on. We had this grate in the middle of our house. It was over
Carol
our
low-key
furnace.
the worst one in the story.
I described the living room earlier with that recliner.
That shit killed me too. As a woman, if the nigga that you fuck with is touching children, why is you in there letting him touch up on them kids? The only thing he should be worried about touching is you. Fuck do a 50, 60-year-old man gotta do with touching a 3-4-year-old girl, bruh. And it's like, I know the wife might not have knew, but like, come on now. You know.
Under there, couch here, mirrors on the wall, big grate in the middle of the floor. It's how you heat the whole house. Because these are these old row houses, so there's a literal furnace there. John Thomas would make us stand on that when it was hot as a punishment for literally anything that we did. If you didn't finish your dinner, if your room wasn't clean the way he wanted your room to be cleaned, if we didn't clean up after the dogs the way he wanted us to, for literally anything, you could be standing on this grate. And until this day, I have burns, those marks on the bottom of my feet. So do some of my siblings. Carol Thomas, I realized as they adopted more children, she had to be home more. So she ends up leaving her job, because the twins are toddlers. I'm still fairly young. I'm only 8 years old. So she started taking on more responsibility of like a foster mom, so we started getting more kids coming in and out. And I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, literally this much. I think she was scared because she was in a marriage before and had gotten divorced. She had her sons. That man, from what she tells me, abused her. When she met my adoptive father in a club in Philly, she was physically attracted to him, but he was 7 years younger than her. He's from Jacksonville, Florida. She's lived in York, Pennsylvania all her life. She meets this man that's younger than her. I guess she falls in love and she finds out nothing about him. So although I always have met all of Carol Thomas's family, her mother, her father, her siblings, I've never met any of John Thomas's family. And she didn't really meet any of them either. I can't tell you if this man has ever had any biological children that are alive. Pennsylvania gave them awards for adopting us. They would do so much for our family. We were in the newspaper for them doing this miraculous thing. They adopted these 6 kids that, and they always say that nobody wanted you. You should be happy that these people took you in. Yet, in my own opinion, there wasn't enough research put.
Like, hey, I agree exactly with what she said. There was not enough research put into them. She just had 2 great points back to back. The way that they mentally break these kids is so disgusting. Because it's crazy. They do the same thing to the kids that, like, it's like, and I see it specifically, I'm going to speak about minority children when I say this. A lot of the time they tell us our only pass if we trying to survive is to end up dead or in jail. And it's like, all right, but sidetracked. The real point is, saying that nobody wants these kids affects them so fucking bad mentally. Because I've been there before. I've been somewhere where I felt like nobody wanted me. Nobody. You feel me? Like, it really happened. Even if you have, you feel me? So imagine literally having nobody and you're being told nobody wants you. Or nobody wants to take care of you. Nobody sees you as what you are, which is a helpless child. No one wants to bear that burden. And it's like, they shouldn't have to deal with that, bro. These is babies. These is people that aren't even people yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they can't. What the fuck is a baby gonna do to get some, you feel me, and take care of their siblings? And it kind of breaks me a little bit that, you feel me, we see shit like that, and it's like, we let that shit rot. You feel me? Like, I feel like if we want to be better as people, we also should want our society to be better.
Put into Carol and John Thomas and who they were as people. So with that being said, that is a little bit of benefit of doubt I will give Carol Thomas. She was a very damaged person.
Social workers and nurses, I don't know why, bro, but they need to really start researching who the fuck they let become a doctor or a nurse. And they really need to start researching who the fuck they let become a social worker. Because, bro, you're putting people's lives into their hands.
Person who made it known that she was damaged, yet was still allowed to adopt children. John Thomas, on the other hand, a whole facade. Everywhere that he went, people loved him. When I say people loved him, I mean, yes. John Thomas assaulted me every day. He got to a point where it didn't matter where I slept in the house, who was around. He had complete control over me. Carol Thomas relinquished basically her control. He turned me into a tomboy that he was sexually assaulting. Like I said, we lived in York, Pennsylvania. By the time all of us were adopted, they needed a bigger house. Once we get to this house, I'm 12 years old. We move in. Big, beautiful house. They have their room. The twins have their room. My little brother has his room. And me and my two sisters slept in a big room in the basement. I'm 11, 12 years old. I'm in middle school now. And I'm frequently writing all the time. I'm writing all the time because I'm being molested on a regular basis. So I'm always heavy into a diary, heavy writing stories. And then, my best friend died of cancer. And they refused to let me go to her funeral. So I had all this trauma that was just like, I didn't know what to do with it. So I was just writing it down everywhere. And so while Carol and John Thomas are beating us in every situation they can, they're making us run up and down the stairs for hours upon hours. John Thomas's, one of his favorite punishments was for him to fill the bathtub up with ice cold water, hold you down in that ice cold water, and then send you out into the winter, into the snow. We would be butt naked. Sometimes he'd make us sleep on the floor of our garage. Some of my siblings would start going into hypothermia. He would just wrap them in blankets. He would slap us in the face. Like I said, use the PVC pipes. And I told you I was going to be graphic because I had written about this. John Thomas invented this punishment for me and he would only do it would only be me and him, but he would make me lay on the floor, make me spread my legs, and he would beat me on my private area with a wire hanger. Why he did this, I don't know, but this was one of the punishments he would give me. And again, I want to stress as well, Carol Thomas ended up developing diabetes, so she was home all the time. She had something called diabetic feet, so she barely left the house. She didn't want to drive. At one point, she just stopped driving. So everything was up to John Thomas. He had control over everyone. Once we moved to West Shore, none of her family was really close by. So no one was coming to visit. Her sons weren't coming around anymore because I feel like they had seen the change in her and that they just didn't want to be around. One of her sons, he was the only one I'd ever seen fight back against John Thomas and tell him, you're a jerk, you're an asshole, you treat my mom bad, you treat these kids badly. And I was so young when this was going on. It's just these two grown men fighting. I had written in a diary. It was right before I turned 13 years old. I'd written in one of my diaries that I was going to run away and that if they found a Jane Doe, please come and check and see if it's me, because I'd rather leave here and be dead than to keep going through this because this man is touching me inappropriately. Carol Thomas found this diary. She read it. She asked me if it was true. I told her yes. Now, the interesting thing about it, and this is why your channel is so important and why these stories are so important. When I wrote this in my diary, I put that John Thomas had been touching me inappropriately, and he had been touching me inappropriately. She took that as I said that he had already raped. So she took me to a doctor to see if I still had my hymen. I went to this pediatrician. He said she, in fact, does still have her hymen. So she called me a dirty, nasty liar. She slapped me in my face. She made me lay on the bed. She spread my legs. She told me I smelled badly and I was a disgusting. And that was it. She said I was a liar. I made the whole thing up and she didn't care. After this incident, it gave John Thomas the green light to go ahead and rape me, which he did. John Thomas took my virginity 2 days after my 13th birthday. After he took my virginity, I was sleeping in the room with my sisters. The day that he did it, my sisters again were sleeping in the room with me. Carol Thomas was upstairs in her bedroom sleeping. John Thomas basically told me to shut up and that nobody would believe me ever. Then he would switch and he'd be like, I love you. I'm going to be with you. When you turn 18, we're going to run away together. We're going to be together. I'm 13, by the way. Once that happened, he felt like I was too noisy, like I was too loud. So he made me move to a back bedroom in the basement. Now, this back bedroom was a cinder block room that had one of those basement windows on it. And it was a very small room, and it was off from the washer and where the laundromat was, the laundry area was. Apologies. But it gave him access to me without anyone else being around because I was the only one in there. And I was just actively writing in my journals all the time. John Thomas was molesting me every day. He went to work at 10 o'clock at night at Walmart. He would come home at 7 o'clock in the morning. He bought me a blue Nokia phone so that he could directly call me and tell me to wake up. He would come downstairs when he came in. He would molest me. He would go upstairs and go to his room. On the days that he was off, he would stay up very, very late at night drinking beer, watching the Girls Gone Wild commercials that came on late at night, and he would molest me in various places in our house. Several times I was caught with my pants down in a compromising situation. Carol Thomas was told about it. She would beat me relentlessly. I feel like I was protecting my sisters. However, John Thomas still touched my sister that's right under me, my middle sister. He still ended up molesting her. It just wasn't to the extent, and honestly, like I said, she was very nervous and quiet. So I feel like in his mind, he thought he could get away with doing it to both of us, but I don't know why he just kind of lost interest in doing it to her. When I realized how to put into words what was happening to me, it was at West York Middle School. We had this assembly, these people came, and they were speaking to us about abuse, about children being abused, about what abuse means. And they had passed out this pamphlet. So I'd seen the word incest in this pamphlet. And when I read what that meant, it was the first time ever that I had the words for what was happening to me. But it scared me so much because I'm like, wait a minute. He's not my real dad, though. So is this the same thing? So John Thomas, once he gets me into this room, once I'm in this room, he has this access to me. He's raping me on a daily basis. Any opportunity.
See, and this is why it's so important for children to have elders that can teach them shit. Because even, and this is not to like, this is just to give y'all a different perspective on like how different children see shit, right? I didn't grow up in the best environment when I was younger, so it led to me being advanced in a lot of ways, like mentally, on how I seen shit and how I viewed the world, right? So, and I also had a lot of older people, like my grandparents, my uncles. I have a whole hell of a lot of uncles and aunts, bro. Whole hell of a lot of cousins. Most of my cousins is damn near auntie and uncle age. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, everybody that I grew up with and that I grew up around was, you know, I could use them for knowledge if I needed to. When you're in a situation like this, it's like, a lot of the time, some of these foster parents, they really don't even be making their kids go to school and shit like that. A lot of the time, they don't want their kids to go to school because, I'm going to tell y'all this now. A lot of them kids who you see who don't have good hygiene and they can't take care of themselves properly, they come to school every day, they smell a little off, they getting bullied by the other kids, all this, that, and the third, bro. Them be the kids that something happening to them every time. Damn near every time, bro. Especially if they smart and they don't want to do their school work. It's because they really, it's like the human brain prioritizes shit. Like this shit. If this shit should not be happening to me, it make you think about how unjust that shit is throughout the day. So for me, although although I grew up different from how she did, I can understand like how, you feel me, like, as she got older, I could imagine that she would have felt like genuinely abandoned and like very hurt and left behind with like what was going on with her, because she had no, it's like in her mind, she's thinking, I have to do this. Like if I don't do this, he just gonna do this to my sisters. And if he can't do it to my sisters, he's just gonna do it to somebody else. Not even, at that point, not even knowing that she's being raped or molested, you still know it's not right as a kid. It's just like you don't know how to articulate it. And to the wife in this situation, I know back in the day, it was a little different. A lot of the time, it was respect to the elders. So whatever the older person in the situation said went. But no, bro, them kids don't be saying shit for nothing. I've never met a kid for real that wasn't like around a bunch of liars that lied for no reason. Literally. Lying is a skill, bro. It is a taught skill. So if a kid come up to you and they telling you how they parents do all this, that, and the third, I know some of y'all done been outside walking around and a random kid, like say you at a park, a random kid just walk up to you and like, yeah, my mommy be beating me. Bro, that shit happen. Like, this shit is so common, bro. It's so common, and it's crazy because it's like, at some point you have to realize that we're complacent to let shit like this happen, and that should not be. We should never, ever have been complacent for shit like this to happen, bro. Like at all.
He can get to rape me. He's doing it. It was freezing in this room, so I was complaining about it. I'm like, I'm freezing. I'm cold. So my adopted father, John Thomas, I write about this in the book as well. Very handy. Could build things from scratch. Very good with his hands. He ends up building a drywalled room in the basement in the laundry area. No windows, with a door on the front of it. This was my new bedroom. He built this bedroom for me. Before I got into this bedroom, while this bedroom was being built, I got pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant because I didn't know what to expect when you miss your period because I just started getting periods. But he knew I was, and he let it go for 3 months. One day he told me I was pregnant, and I said, what? I was scared. I cried. So he comes and gets me on like a Friday, and he takes me to the Planned Parenthood. And I get to Planned Parenthood, and they tell me she's too far along for you to bring her to this facility. You're going to have to take her to this facility in Baltimore, Maryland. Carol Thomas didn't know, though. We drive to Baltimore, Maryland, and for the first time ever, I had to walk through an anti-abortion protest. I'm 13 and a half years old. It is scary. He's right behind me. These people they're calling me a baby killer. They're telling me to find another way. They're shoving pamphlets in my face. I saw that fluorescent green vest come out and they pulled me in. I was thoroughly traumatized because I lived around the corner from a Planned Parenthood my whole childhood. I would see these protests on my way to school, but it meant nothing to me because I didn't understand what was going on. I go inside to this facility. They do all the paperwork. He pays for this abortion. They give me something to make me drowsy, to make me woozy. And there's a woman sitting to the right of us, and she also had a young girl with her. And her and John Thomas are talking. So the woman's like, I can't believe I'm here. She said, is that your daughter? And he's like, yeah, it's my daughter. And she said, I can't believe I'm here. I don't want to do this. And he was like, yeah, mine was messing around with them boys. And I just remember, like, I'll never forget that he said that because how dare you? And why can't you just sit here and shut up because you're already putting me through something? So why are you going to lie to yourself further and make it seem like you're doing something for me? After the drink they gave me, I go in, I get the procedure done. I wake up, they give me orange juice and some crackers. I get in the car, we drive home. I walk through the back door. Carol Thomas goes, I heard you didn't feel good today. Now, mind you, I've been signed out early in the day. John Thomas wasn't at work or anything. So I've been going for hours with this person and you have no questions? So she goes, do you feel any better? And I was like, yeah, I guess I do. And she goes, bend over so I can see, touch your toes. So I bend over and I touch my toes. I get this sharp pain in my leg. I stand up straight and I go to walk towards the basement to where my room is. And I go down the stairs. I lay in the bed. I drift off. I wake up and I look under the covers and there's just blood everywhere. He comes downstairs. He sees this. He goes, I'm going to the pharmacy right now and go and get you your pain medicine, whatever. I'm like out of it because I have all this blood coming out of me. I just had this procedure done. I'm laying there in the bed. He comes, he cleans all this up. There's no way that this is going on. And Carol Thomas, who is just upstairs, doesn't know it is. But in my mind, I wasn't thinking about that. I just thought, I'm lucky to be alive right now. One day I came home from school. I was 15 years old. She was in the bathroom. She swung the door open and she hits me. And something inside me was like, fight that. And so I did. I was so angry that day. Hitting her and punching her. I'm telling her, you're not going to keep beating on me. You're not going to keep doing this to me. She ends up trip back onto this couch. And I was beating on her. I was hitting her. And she starts screaming. And I hear someone tumbling down the stairs, like coming down real fast. And it's John Thomas. And he grabs me once he comes into the living room, and he like kind of throws me. And she gets up and she's like coming toward me. And he's like, go to your room, go in the basement. And I open the door, I run down the stairs, and then my book bag comes flying down behind me. It hits me in my back. I get up, I go to the room that John Thomas had built for me, and I was sleeping in this room regularly. Now I had a bed in there, a dresser, little nightstand, and this little SpongeBob clock that I'd gotten for my birthday. They're upstairs arguing. She's like, oh, you better get your little, I hate her. She's this, that. She's trying to tear our family apart, all these things. And she said, I don't want to see her face anymore. John Thomas was like calming her down and saying all this stuff. John Thomas comes downstairs and says, you can't be upstairs anymore. You can't be upstairs. When you come home, go straight to your room. You cannot be upstairs at all anymore unless we let you up there. And he installed this lock to the outside of my door, and he shut it. That's what the book is named after. The door that locked from the outside. On October 24th, 2006, I told the full story to somebody who helped me. And when Beth heard this, she was flabbergasted. She told me, don't you worry, you go home like normal today. And by the end of today, I'm going to have you and your sisters and brothers out of there. And she kept her word. I got home that day. Carol Thomas was on the phone with Children's Services, and she was trying to recant her statement. She was trying to tell me to take it back. And I told her no. I went down in my room, and I actually fell asleep. A couple hours go by. My sister comes busting in my room. She's like, Trisha, wake up. They're here to take us. And my sister's like pouring down tears. I grab my gym bag. I throw some stuff in it. I run upstairs. Carol Thomas's sister is there. There's other people there. So Carol Thomas's sister pulls me to the side, and she said, did he really do this? And I told her, yes, every day for the past 10 years. Yes. She said, okay, as well. The caseworkers come in. They told Carol John Thomas not to speak to us. They separated us again, the oldest and the youngest. I ended up going to Hanover, Pennsylvania with a lovely family, the Crump family. That family ended up taking in all 6 of us. They'd gone on to now adopt my younger siblings. I aged out before I could be adopted. They were a wonderful family. They saw us through the trial. The trial took about 2 years. It was public. It was all over the news. I was 16 years old, going to school every day, checking people's comments underneath articles about me and my siblings, getting death threat, being called all types of unsavory names. If it wasn't for my friends and my journalism teacher, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through that. And the Crumps.
To those that was sending her death threats, wallahi, you the worst type niggas to ever come across the planet. Victim blaming is never something that should be done. Victim blaming is never something that's cool. Niggas be like, it gets to a point, bro, but that was that getting adopted by a predator changed her life. If they let them 2 people go with like no trial, no nothing, well, I mean, I know they had a trial for the adoption, but I'm saying a trial for them to be thrown in that fucking slammer. Nigga, throw them in that bitch. Turn around, toss the key over the gate, and don't look back. Well, loyal to the dean. It's different. Shout out to the Crumps, though. Shout out to those that helped her, too. You feel me? That was a very sad story. Like, actually a very sad story. Yeah, that one actually kind of fucked me up, chat. But been that little Cassia Glow boy. You already know where they are. They got the 4-0 boy, man. That Tuski, Dollar Dubski, nigga. One of the G's, only the G's. Man. Chat. With that being said, y'all know the protocol. So without further ado, we gonna salute it. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, and stay hydrated. Check in on your friends, bro. You never know what they going through. Even the people that ain't your friends, everybody need a helping hand sometimes. We gonna get the fuck up out of here. Peace out.